get past that level and you say, okay, I'm actually going to listen and pay attention and be respectful. And rather than thinking about what I'm going to say next, I'm actually going to pay attention to what they're saying. Now, this is obviously a huge advance in the world of sales, but now I'm going to take it a step further, because it's one thing to be actively listening and respectful and paying attention to what's being said so that you can continue to interact. And obviously you can prove that you're listening by responding to what's said, not just having a pre-programmed idea of what I'm going to say next. So now I'm listening, now I'm paying attention, I'm in the moment, I'm actually engaging with them, but I want to take that up a notch. And that comes from intentional, specific listening. Now, here's an example of what I mean by that. Let's say you are looking for a set of car keys that are lost. And if you were told, hey, I lost my car keys somewhere in this house, can you help me look for them? You could just go around and start looking for car keys. You may find the car keys because you have a general idea of what car keys would look like. But you're going to be a lot more successful at finding those car keys if you know exactly what this person's car keys look like. What kind of a keychain? What color is it? Is it one of those big ones that has 15 things on it that barely fits in a purse? Or is it just a very minimal keychain that's just a ring and a key? Is there a remote fob for a car? And does it say, what color is it and what does it look like? How big is it? What brand of a car is it? I mean, there's all of these different things that would give you clues about what you're looking for. And there's no secret that you're going to be a lot more successful finding something when you know what it looks for. You're able to focus your eyes, and the way our eyes work is different from how our ears work, but there's a similarity. When you are looking for something specific, you're able to focus on that instead of focusing on everything. And when you focus on everything, the way our minds work, the way that our biology is set up, we can't just focus on everything and still notice those specific things very well. So we'll do better to train our eyes and say, I'm looking for a blue keychain that's about as big as the palm of my hand, and it's got a key fob and then a squishy thing. And if I look for that, it's going to be way easier to find because I'm specifically looking for that, not just looking in general. Now, with listening as a salesperson, my point is, if you know what you're listening for, if you've specifically gone through and identified, these are the objections that my customers might have, and I'm listening, I'm training my ears to perk up and pay attention to certain phrases, certain things that they might say that tip me off, that's an issue, that's a concern. Because they don't always come out and say, here's the issue, but you're listening for specific clues. You're listening to things that might give you an idea. Same thing would be true. I'm listening for their dominant buying motives. I'm listening for what it is that gets them excited. Why would they buy my product or service? So there's certain things that are going to tell me that. I'm listening for specific cues about what they're interested in, what's important to them, why it matters. I might be listening for clues to urgency. Why is it that this matters to them now? What's going on? If I'm listening and I know what I'm listening for, if I have identified a handful of things to be on the, so to speak, be on the lookout for verbally, and of course, if I'm in person or if I'm able to see them in a Zoom, I'm also watching for body language clues. The better I've trained myself to know what I'm listening for, and not just generally and respectfully listening to the person I'm in a dialogue with, but actually listening for specific things that I've pre-identified as being important, I'm going to be able to hone in on those things. I'm not going to miss those important clues about how to sell them, about what objections they have that I need to overcome, and other clues as well. I mean, we could spend an entire hour just going into the things that we could watch for, whether it's clues to their personality type, clues to how they make decisions, and any kind of hints that they might give us about prior sales interactions and why they didn't buy, what steered them away or turned them off, and there's all kinds of things. But that takes time, and we can go through case by case and identify things that we should be paying attention to. But the message that I want to get across in this segment is, how intentional are you about listening? Are you number one, at least listening and giving them a chance to speak? But are you, number two, paying attention to what they're saying so that you're in the moment, you can interact with it? And number three, have you gone beyond just that respectful listening and listening to engage and have a conversation and a dialogue? Have you gone beyond that to, what am I listening for? What should I be on the lookout for with my ears, with my eyes, what would be the clues that I should be paying attention on high alert? Because when those things come out, it's a great, great way for me to know, am I on the right track? Where do I need to go next? And obviously I can, formulate a game plan better if I'm listening in that way. We'll talk more about this on a future segment, but thanks for coming.